Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Picadian.
Hey, Jared is not here, but we miss him. So there's Jared's not intro. Hey, this is me, Todd Novak. We are super happy that you are listening to our show, the Guitar Knobs podcast. Welcome, one and all. If this is your 100th time listening to our show, thank you. If this is the first time, we're really excited that you've chosen to give us a try, and I hope we can deliver on your expectations. Yeah, so I mentioned Jared. He's dealing with a little bit of thing at home, and we wish him well, and he'll be back. I know he was really, really bummed about not being here because we've got a special show today. And speaking of the show, Tony, tell everybody what we do.
What do we do? Just we like to talk about gear.
Yep.
And we like to talk to builders of gear, and we like to focus on the boutique builders, the guys and gals that are making things on a somewhat smaller scale, sometimes on larger scales.
Yeah.
But they are focused in on what players want, and they are, as we like to say, the Davies amongst the Goliaths.
And in some instances, and occasionally we have a nice, very friendly Goliath.
Yes, a kindly Goliath.
Yeah. So speaking of that, we've got somebody very special, very, very special on the line today.
Well, hello, guys. Thank you for having me on your show. My name is Emmanuel Vourakis, and I'm here today to talk about jam pedals. I'm calling from Athens, Greece, where we're based off.
Ooh, so we have an evening call over there, and we've got a morning call here, and it's like you're in the room, kind of.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
So good. I should say good morning, everybody. Right?
Well, we're really happy that you are going to be on our show today. We met you at a giant guitar show in winter. I can't even say the name anymore. It's like
we met Jam at NAMM.
Yeah. So and we were really impressed with your pedal line and just your whole brand and everything that you were bringing to the table. And so we wanted to make sure that we passed this information on to our audience. So we're going to get into an interview about what jam pedals is all about and what's special about them, and get to know Emmanuel a little bit better. First, we got a couple of announcements. Tony, where can people be listening to us now?
Well, I think you can go to iHeartRadio.
Yep, that's a new one.
In addition to Spotify,
and
iTunes, and
Stitcher, and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
And if for whatever reason you don't like those, or you want to find out more about the show, you can always go to theguitarknobs.com, where we have every one of our episodes, the entire library of all of them, and all of the 4 on the floors. So you can see what all of your favorite builders have chosen as their 4 must-have pedals.
Didn't we recently have a major milestone?
We did. We had a major milestone that I won't exactly say what it was, but I wanted to make sure that we take a moment to say thank you to all of the listeners and subscribers and supporters of the show. It's really kind of mind-blowing. We all shared a happy moment over text between Jared, myself, and Tony, and friends of the show. So it was important to us, and it's because of everybody listening out there. So thank you so much.
Warm congratulations from me too, guys.
Thank you. Much appreciated. And speaking of thanks, we want to thank Rode Microphones.
Rode, yes.
Yeah, because they have provided our dandy audio gear for us, which we use every week. And I think we might be able to pack up the Frankenstein box here. I think we can do it.
His lights are glowing, but
the lights are glowing.
They're a little dim.
Yeah. So, but the
what do we have here? We've got a Rodecaster Pro.
Yep.
Mixing console, recording console.
Yep.
With sound effects that Todd won't let us use.
That's true. And Tony, what is it?
I believe it's the Procaster microphone.
That's right.
With
articulating
arm.
Yeah.
I'm articulating it right now.
Yeah. So these things are really great. We've done a lot of shows on these
that's great.
now, and we're really grateful to Rode Microphones from Australia for providing these for us.
Good day.
I just want to make a quick call out to, a few episodes back, I made mention that we have some that have reached out and said that they are now building their own things.
They've been inspired. We like to talk about stuff. We like to talk to people who build things, but it's really, almost unfathomable that we can inspire people to pick up a saw and a chisel and a whatever and make their own stuff. I think it's really cool. A soldering iron even.
Yeah. Exactly. So, speaking of people in the community doing awesome things, one of our executive producers, Tyler Bray, shot me a note, and he wanted to share that he said, "Your show inspires so many people to build their own gear, but it inspired me to build my own podcast."
Sweet.
Which is really awesome. And it's a hard undertaking. Anybody that has done this or is going to try, just buckle your seat, because it's a lot of work.
Unless you have a Rodecaster Pro.
That will definitely make it easier. Yeah. And what they do is essentially readers in the Hard Times community, which is Hard Times is a like a punk rock zine, I believe, or online zine, or a website. In that community, they send in their music and then they listen, review, and roast it all in good fun. So that's kind of cool.
Nice.
And then we also have Nick Felgar, who I guess a couple months back shared that he was also inspired to build something.
Oh, is this the aluminum neck?
Yeah,
bag?
he built this aluminum neck bass, and people just really responded well to it. I mean, it was beautiful. So now he's building his second bass, and it's sort of a take on a 4001 style Rickenbacker.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. They look really good so far.
Yeah, so really excited to see what comes out of that. And then our friend Liam Martin, also an executive producer, he is sharing pictures of the Billy Bow guitar that he's making. So you can see all that on the Guitar Knobs group on Facebook. Which is different from our official page because of, Facebook's lovely, weird sharing thing and subscribers and stuff. It's anyways. So we have a group. So check it out. I think that's it.
That's a lot of announcements.
There's a lot of things going on in the world today. Speaking of that, what's going on in your music world this week, Tony?
This week. So if anybody follows me on Instagram or has been over to Instagram, I posted that I just got my Geddy Lee's Big Beautiful Book of Bass.
Yeah.
It was on back order for about 2.5 months.
This thing is huge.
It's a monstrous book, but I mean, it is like over 4.
That's a 10-pound book.
Oh yeah, it's not something that you can take lightly, but it is. I'm going to put this. I have hundreds of guitar books in my collection. And this book, I'm going to put in my top 5.
Wow.
It's over 400 pages of some of the most beautiful bass guitars. There's some other regular guitars in there too, but it's primarily basses, obviously, because of Geddy.
Right.
I mean, it's a beautiful book, and some really oddball things. As you know, Geddy played a lot of the double neck Rickenbackers, right. And
that's what's best about those books, though. That's because that's where you can really actually find good information, good pictures on and features on the really weird stuff.
Yeah. So the first couple of days, I just was paging through, and I mean, it's beautiful to look at, and then over the last couple of days, I've actually started reading it, and it's primarily written by Geddy. There are a number of really great interviews in there.
Do you read it in Geddy Lee's voice?
Yes, I do.
Is that he's Minnie Pearl, I guess?
No, and I have to say, okay, I'll go on record as saying I am not the biggest Rush fan out there. But I grew up in my formative years. You couldn't turn on a radio without there being a Rush song on, and sometimes
especially up in North Ohio where they really hit the ground running.
Yeah, well, there you go. But I have to say I respect him as a musician, and this book is it's incredibly well done. He's done some great interviews. The writing is very good. It's easy to read. I'm going to just go out there and say, just buy this book. I mean, even if you're not a bass player, you'll love this thing. It's really cool. I think it lists at like $75, but you can find it on Amazon or some other places for like $40-50, and it's worth every penny.
Put it on your Christmas list, everybody.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. How about let's check in with Emmanuel. What's going on in your guitar world this week?
This week, well, that's a good question. We're actually about to go play a nice gig with my band a couple of hours after we're done with the podcast. My band is called the Zilla Project. We play like our, blues rock. We have our original music, and then we play covers along with it, and we're having a blast with it. Well, I guess the best thing that happened this time of the year was that we just played with the mighty Kirk Fletcher a few weeks ago, and it was a blast playing with a player of this caliber. Kirk is amazing, man. He's one of the hottest blues musicians and guitar players around for many years now, and it was just a blast playing with him and making music together. I guess that would be the highlight.
That's a good highlight. I got back this morning at about 3 something or other from a gig that I played, and rushed in here. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get about 3.5 hours sleep, and we'll get this going. But it's one of those things where you got a gig and you're waiting to get paid, and the last band has got, they're going to play their entire discography.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, wow, okay, we're going to be here a while.
We're only going to do 5 more.
Yeah. All right. This is the set from this decade. Anyway, so as for me, I received the Hello Sailor Effects Underdrive, which I made a post on Instagram. If you haven't seen that, go over to Instagram and check that out. And I love to do the unboxings when things come in. It's real fun to do. And this is a handmade, hand-painted, hand-wired, everything hand on this pedal. And it's a really interesting drive. It's a different take on an overdrive, to be honest. So
you say it's an underdrive.
He calls it an underdrive.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna do a post on it that'll have basically all the information that he sent out to me as to what this thing is all about. I won't go into great detail on it now, but it was inspired. It was inspired by something that he saw happen on that pedal show. So that was kind of I think that's a really cool inspiration for a pedal. Okay, now, wait, where are you calling from again?
Athens, Greece.
Opa! 1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor. Okay, Emmanuel Vourakis from Jam Pedals out in Athens, Greece. Give us your 4 on the floor.
Okay, then for my first pedal, what really happened is that we totally ran out of stock of every jam pedal we could make. So I don't have any jam pedals to play with. So now for my first pedal, I will have to go with a prototype 69 fast-faced tie pedal Mike Fuller made in early. Okay. I have one of those babies that I sincerely love, and I am a big must-have fuzz pedal guy.
What do you like best about that particular pedal?
Fuzz pedals are so personal to everybody. Like your favorite fuzz pedal is your favorite fuzz pedal because it works just right the way you want it to, but I think it's a combination of how the pedal cleans up and how it's actually a 4-knob pedal, while I believe the later incarnation of the pedal was a 3-knob pedal, the 69. It's got a volume and a fuzz knob, just like everything else. So that's, let's say, like the gain of the fuzz, and then the overall volume. And it's got a bias control and a contour control. Apart from the fact that this pedal just feels and sounds exactly like I love a fuzz face pedal to sound, it is also very tunable with those two knobs, the bias and the contour knob. I think only one of the two made it to the final version. Actually, don't quote me on this. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, that would have to be my one go-to fuzz pedals when I cannot get a fuzz phrase.
How did you get a prototype from him?
I didn't get a prototype from him. I used to work back in 99 or 2000. I used to live in Boston, and I used to work in a great guitar store. It's called Boston Guitar.
Okay.
They're still in business. Shout out to Heath Berkowitz, my ex-boss and great friend. He's now out in Brockton, Mass, I believe, or maybe Bridgewater or something. But back then, the store was in Boston, across from Symphony Hall. It was one of the best guitar stores in the country back then. That's like prior to the whole business being online and everything. We used to like really handle an amazing stock of vintage pedals and vintage guitars and boutique everything, basically. And I really cherish my years in that shop. And that pedal came in. And then I actually called my teacher and one of the most amazing guitar players on earth, Julian Casper, who's a Berkeley professor. And I called him, I'm like, hey, man, this pedal just came in. Sounds amazing. You should check it out. So he came in, he checked it out, and he said, put it on hold for me. And then I went ahead and bought it.
Oh, man.
And he still won't forgive me. To this day, he won't forgive me. That was a sleazy ass move, but sorry.
That's okay.
But it was a sleazy move on my behalf, but I did it. And I'm confessing. I hope that takes a little bit of the blame away.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's how I came to own this pedal.
Awesome. Okay, man, that was a great little story. I appreciate you sharing that with us. What do you have for number 2?
All right, number 2 would have to be a wah pedal. I am a happy owner of an original Clyde McCoy, a Vox Clyde McCoy.
Wow.
So yeah, just sounds great. But I could actually, if I can have a second runner-up it's actually not a second. It depends on the mood of the day. I also have a vintage color sound.
Oh, yeah.
That feels and sounds totally different than the Clyde. Also, really, really love that pedal. And the color sound, I was not even aware of. And then on meeting Hoagie, but you guys know, I hate to get his name wrong. You guys familiar with Comet amplification, Comet amps?
Comet?
Yes.
No.
You need to become aware of Comet amps. They're some of the best amplifiers, in my opinion, in the world.
Okay.
And the two guys behind them are Mike Kennedy and Holger Nodzel. I might be messing up the pronunciation of Hoagie's name, but anyway, I was a huge fan of Comet because in that shop I used to work at, when they first came out with, I guess, a flagship model, the K60, I believe is the model, and which is an incredible amplifier. And I was a big fan of them for years. So at the NAMM show a few years back, I had the pleasure of meeting the guys behind the amp. They're amazing guys, and they're very, very knowledgeable gear freaks, obviously, as you would expect. And Hoagie was the one that turned me on to the color sound wah.
Huh.
As a responsible pedal-involved guy, I had to go find one and check it out, and I totally fell in love with it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What do you like best about that particular one?
It's a very good question. I feel is the cleanest, if I can't find a better word to use, it's the cleanest and most even wah pedal that I have ever tried. And the travel, I mean, I like wide travel pedals better, but they're very short in their travel, but they're just right. And again, it's a big matter of personal preference, obviously.
What do you have for number 3?
It's got to be 4 on the floor, so I won't go with an octave fuzz that I really like, but I would love to mention, which is the Octavius by MJM. Do you guys know MJM from Canada?
I don't think I'm not familiar with MJM.
It's amazing. You know, we talk to so many people, and it never fails. We always someone mentions something, and
that's the whole point of the show.
Then we spend the next week digging around and trying to find out a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, I'll tell you what, MJM is a very cool company from Canada to come in the boutique pedal industry. But for some reason, they never made it big.
There are a lot of people that began making boutique pedals, I think, pretty much right before I think the internet like really blew up, and it was like this weird. If they had come out a year or two later, they would have been much bigger. You're right. And it's a real bummer because people overlook them because they're not as, there's either the company's slightly older, the pedal's older, people always want new. And I think there's a lot out there that you should still totally consider them, even though they may not be hyped. They're fantastic pedals.
Well, I mean, we are on a podcast right now, and I shouldn't badmouth the internet.
Well, there is that.
I hate to say that, at least in some cases, it made people buy from what they read and not what they hear. I'm talking now, I'm remembering my days back in the shop, and I was a retail guy, right? And I would take all these pedals out of the cases, spend hours with customers, like showing them this and that, and then playing them and feeling them and hearing them, instead of looking at pictures and reading random people's opinions on what sounds good for them. It doesn't really make much sense nowadays. It is what it is, but I definitely would recommend to spend time to listen for themselves, to play for themselves, and not give this much weight to what others say. Because as you said it very well, there might not be hype about a certain company, and it still might be amazing, and it still might be the best sound for you.
It's very individual type of thing. I mean, that's why there are so many different pedals and amps and guitars. I mean, it's, that's what it's all about.
I totally agree, and I'm a victim, and I'm a hoarder, and I am a gas infected person forever, obviously. But still, man, let's just not just do pictures, just let's play the stuff and decide for ourselves.
Just to clarify, a gas infected person, it's not all of the raw vegetables you're eating. It's gear acquisition syndrome.
Absolutely, man.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe you do have problems, but
well, I don't know if this is. I do have a problem.
Thanks for sharing. If we hear some extraneous noise, we'll know what that is.
And
you asked. You asked. I had to be honest.
Yeah, I think there is something to point out there. You make a very good point. It was like it is really important to play and listen to yourself. And the only problem with that is that now there are so many builders. It's very difficult to get those even in stores. So, but there are a couple online providers for trying out pedals. Like
you're right.
So
Pedal
Sound
Genie,
Parcel is one, Pedal Genie, and you can have pedals sent right to your door and try them out. And if you like them, buy them. If you don't, send them back. So there are ways to do that. I also really highly encourage finding people in your community that you can actually just swap gear with for playing and trying and loaning. We do that here, and I've got a circle that seems to be growing of people that are willing to just, hey, try this pedal out for a week or two and give it back whenever, or whatever.
Yeah, sure. That's the best way to go, actually.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get on to your last one, number 4.
Oh, no, it's not my last one. So I said that because I only have 4, I won't do the MJM for third.
Oh, you sneaky. That was very sneaky. Okay. All right, we'll allow it.
Thank you. I will have to put my ADA flanger there.
All right, so number 3 is your ADA flanger.
Yeah, you got to have some modulation in there somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So the ADA flanger is just amazing. You probably understand that I'm old school and I like vintage stuff, along with all the problems they bring when they break down and when they all of a sudden sound weird and not right and whatever. But I just love it. I just love them. And sometimes their issues sound so good. Many times the original stuff, because the components weren't that, I don't know, consistent or, exact to measurements. They would, when you would get that one pedal that would sound magically in your ear, then you couldn't replace it with anything, So for me, my that ADA flanger sounds like that.
Number 4.
Number 4, last one. Number 4, I would have to go again. Delay llamas are out of stock. I can't get them anywhere. So I have to go with the Maxon AD900 delay. Should be around 20 years old.
And for those who aren't as familiar with maybe the Maxon brand, if you're familiar with the old Ibanez Tube Screamer, that was basically the other version of that.
Wasn't Maxon a division of Ibanez?
Maxon, I think, was the company that was making them for Ibanez.
Ah, okay.
But again, don't quote me on the historical facts. I'm Greek. I'm not.
Hey, it's all Greek to me.
That's the irony of don't quote me on the historical fact. I mean, you guys created history for Pete's sakes. Oh, boy.
Well, I know. Everything great came from Greece.
Yeah.
So we've been told.
Yeah.
We are the most handsome, the most amazing. I
know. All right. Tell us about this Maxon pedal.
All right. The Maxon AD900 and not the later incarnation AD999. It's a great analog delay pedal with the minimum amount of controls. What I sincerely love about that pedal is the buffer in it.
Interesting.
It's I do like the sound wise, and I'm being completely honest here. I do like what we make better, because the delay llama is a little bit more lo-fi, more dirty. It's got more soul to it. But our delay llama is true bypass. The Maxon is buffered, and whenever I want to have a buffer, I just find the buffer of that pedal to be, if not the most, definitely one of the most guitar-friendly and musical-sounding buffers out there, and it sounds great. It's a bit cleaner than the delay llama, but it still sounds very, very good, and the buffer is great. I would have to choose that one for my 4th pedal.
That is outstanding, and somehow I think you managed to work in 7 pedals.
Man,
that's you are sneaky.
How can you do 4 pedals, man?
It's
that's
tough. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Sorry.
No worries. You just mentioned the Delay Llama, and that was one of the pedals that we got to spend time with. And that is it is a great pedal. We really enjoyed playing that. So speaking of those jam pedals, why don't we get into learning a lot more, not a little more, a lot more about jam pedals?
Careful what you ask for.
Okay. So, I mean, where did the jam pedals start off at?
The jam pedals is basically the sole creation of Yannis Anastasakis.
Anastasakis.
Yep, exactly. Oh, very well.
Hey, all right, I got it.
All right. The man behind everything, really. I met Yannis back in 2006 in Athens. And he was a young fella, guitar player, and also a student of the engineering school of the University of Athens, who was building his own pedals. But back at a time that was, I was basically fresh off the States, and it was unthinkable for a young kid to be making guitar pedals in Greece that actually sounded so good. I met him, I played his pedals, and I fell in love. And I said, whatever I can do to help, and this stuff is great, let me know what I can do. That's how it evolved from there, basically.
What was your sort of big part in helping to grow that?
I did everything I could offer, basically a second set of ears, a second set of hands, not in the building process. I mean, playing the stuff. I have never built a pedal in my life. I have to be very honest with you guys.
So one of the things that I think is noticeable about jam pedals from a humble beginning, when you look at them now, and this is a weird thing when someone says, "Oh, have you heard of this?" And you're like, "No," that your brain instantly says it must not be very big or very popular or very sophisticated or whatever. You have a lot of pedals, and your marketing is really great, and they're totally professionally presented, and packaging
is incredible,
and build. So obviously, it's not a little one-man shop where someone is doing everything with the most rudimentary materials. So how did you progress from those beginnings to where you are now?
Thank you so much for this question, because you could look online and find examples of earlier jam pedals, and they're nothing like what they are today. You can find early jam pedals, and then you can totally know it's a one-man show.
Right. Fair enough.
So, yeah, absolutely, man. And again, going back to the internet, there's a lot of people that, how they will open up the guts of the pedals and look at them and say, hey, that's not such a great job, and that's not professional, and whatever. And we've had our fair share of commentary like this, because they would get their hands on a pedal that was made in 2006 or 2007. And that would be an era where to actually make a nice, neat, perfect circuit board wasn't as easy or simple as it is today. And to make, we still make pedals with through-hole components. We still hand make everything. Yannis still does 2 audio auditions of each pedal that leaves the shop to make sure everything sounds right. So it's a very, very hands-on process that's going on, but striving to get better, striving to stay afloat, to make a good thing better. We have been constantly through these 12, 13 years of existence, and also hailing from Greece and having to compete with American companies, being the oddballs of the bunch. we have never stopped trying to make everything better. And I'm glad you guys are talking about our packaging and our marketing, because that's a labor of love that cultivated itself into this, into today's boxes and manuals and whatever you guys see and you like. Just this year, it's the whole packaging and fresh look of the standard line is a new thing for 2019. And we haven't stopped working hard ever since we started. And it's so good to hear you guys say that you can tell.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Because, yeah, and you know what? In all honesty, I just told you in your last section, 4 on the floor, named my prototype 69 full tone pedal as one of my favorite pedals, right?
Yeah.
And this is so often that you get to say that, oh, this is one of the early ones, man. And they were being made so much better back then. In all honesty, the best jam pedals you can get your hands on are pedals that were made yesterday. Like, we've been trying so hard to improve ourselves, and we've been doing a good job. So today, jam pedals are better than ever, and that's said in complete honesty and pride.
Nice. That's fantastic. I just want to touch on something really quick because, we mentioned, the packaging is really great and the way that they're presented is really great. Now, I think that there's a couple ways that people will instantly react to that. It's like, who cares about packaging? It matters what it sounds like. You will also hear things like, packaging just makes up for something being mediocre or something. And in some cases, that's probably true, but I can say that, especially in our community, in the guitar community, in the boutique community, I really don't think that it could be more opposite, because that is when you're seeing somebody taking extra steps, extra measures. It's a lot of work to create all that stuff. And it's a lot of work to make sure that it is as good as you want it to be to represent your brand. So when somebody is taking those extra steps, it shows that whatever's on the outside is as much care, if not more, is being taken on the inside, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Well, in all honesty, Todd, jam pedals sounded great from the get-go. That's what made me fall in love with Yanis and his pedals and everything, and got me involved. What we've been working so hard on is to improve upon the hand-making process to be equally consistent.
One thing that I found to be true about your pedals is that there is an inherent simplicity in them. So many pedal builders are able to jam like loads and loads of things into a pedal, and there are great reasons for doing that, and sometimes people really love that, but sometimes people want something that's like, I just want it to do that one thing. I feel like you guys have really honed in on what is the one thing this pedal should do really, really well.
So great you say that. Sorry, did I interrupt you? I'm sorry.
No, not at all. I'll take praise whenever we can.
Todd needs a larger hat now.
That was so cheap. I shouldn't have said that. I would like to call up to the stand the waterfall pedal. I played that and I was like, oh, wow. Okay. This is a pretty special pedal. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, before I get into the waterfall, I just wanted to touch upon what you just said. Jam pedals are trying to feature the minimum number of straightforward and responsive controls that will sound great no matter how you dial them in. Try not to get lost in features, and we do try to embrace the needs of today's guitar players. The main thing with these pedals is sound. they have to sound good no matter what. They have to sound good no matter how you dial them in. We believe that if you start adding too many controls, too many features, then you lose sight of what you really expect or want the pedal to do.
You know, it's funny that you just said that, because I literally just wrote down, this is really a case of a lot of pedals like give you all the possibilities that you could do. And you seem to be focusing on, well, what should you want this pedal to do?
You said it much better than I could ever say it.
Maybe there's some Greek in me. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, maybe you're perfect. Maybe you're like a Greek.
Why don't I think that was the waterfall was the one that I think we enjoyed playing, the ones that you sent, but the waterfall, Tony and I both
that one
really
was
responded
great.
to that.
I like the Delay Llama.
Yeah,
an awful lot.
And then
that's great. You guys got, I believe you guys got the waterfall, the Delay Llama Plus, and the Lucid Dreamer.
Yes, that's correct. Is that
right? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
it's funny you say it. The waterfall is one of the first pedals I played when I met Yannis.
Oh, interesting.
And it just blew my mind, because it's kind of what I described. The waterfall sounds good in any setting.
Yeah.
In fact, one of my favorite settings is with both depth and speed turned all the way to the left. So the most saddle setting you could get it to, you could get with the waterfall, and with intensity switch to minus. So the most saddle chorus effect you could get, which is basically when you step on the waterfall like that, basically things just open up. You don't necessarily notice the chorus, but it's like your sound gets amplified, gets widened in a very, very, very pleasant way. And then the waterfall in particular, you know how there's many chorus haters out there, right? Mm-hmm. And how, people consider it to be like a disgusting 80s effect.
I've heard that.
Well, yeah, sure. Absolutely. We have converted many people.
It's kind of like a chorus vibe, though, right? I mean, it's got a vibe factor to it.
Yeah. I'd say,
right?
It's got a very vibey tone, that's for sure.
Yeah,
and its vibrato circuit sounds lovely as well.
Well, that's one of the things. It was a surprise to me, which is also like it. That is a nice thing when you're actually surprised by something. Because when you look at it, let's be frank, it's a very simple looking pedal. It's two knobs, where in a world of many knobs and many switches, it doesn't necessarily say, ho, wait till you hear this thing, because it is so simple. But you plug it in, and just what it does to your guitar tone, it is so pleasing, and it's so easy to control, and you never really end up on that really awful, gaudy kind of chorus vibey effect. It does a good job of just letting your tone breathe. If you're looking through a glass of water, you can still see the other side, but it's just subtly different, I don't know.
That's beautiful. That's great.
That's heavy, PB.
Take the praise now again. Take it again. Take the praise. Well, it's said perfectly. Thank you so much. Do I have your permission to use some of that on our maybe literature or website or something?
If you can decipher it, yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I just want to bring up one other pedal that I think you're getting quite a bit of notoriety for, and that's the Rattler. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
It's true.
Well, there you go. Enough said, everybody. Go buy that pedal.
If you know what's good for you, go buy it. No, it is what it says it is. It is a RAT based circuit, and basically we do use NOS chips in it, And I love the Rattler. I use it all the time. Again, you cannot get a bad sound out of the pedal.
Yeah. They just featured it on that pedal show, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a big surprise with that coming too, but I cannot divulge anymore.
Oh, all right.
Oh, yes.
We like surprises.
Will you share that with us at some point? Just to, shoot me an email.
Course.
Awesome. So one thing that I think I'm curious about is a lot of the builders here share the components that they're using online. They basically say, oh, look, I just got a box of this kind of transistor or capacitor or whatever, or specific knob. And that's really cool for us to see as pedal and gear enthusiasts, because that then makes that specific run kind of special or something. Do you guys work with any unique components, or is it different over there in Greece than it is here building?
I'm really glad you asked that, because we do take great pride into the materials we use for our pedals. For instance, our fuzz phrase is made with really rare CV7003 transistors, which is basically a military spec OC44 germanium transistor. We use the same transistors for our rooster pedal.
In all the pedals? Is that special run?
No. In all the pedals.
Oh,
in all
okay.
the pedals. And we use tropical phase capacitors. We use carbon comp resistors. We use the Panasonic, I forget, MN 3205, I guess, recreations for our delay llama.
Sounds like some of those are kind of hard to get too. I mean, I would imagine. I mean, I run into that problem with some new old stock items myself.
Well, yeah, it's really. I mean, we're constantly trying to harvest. We're always on the lookout, and Yanis has gone to great lengths to actually secure NOS materials throughout the years to be able to keep making the pedals as he originally started making them. A lot of the sound is attributed to the great materials he's using. And yes, it is very it's stuff that's tough to get, and it's stuff that's depleting, and probably at some point will never be again.
Well, that's actually a really good point. We're going to be having an episode coming up with Zach from Mythos Pedals, and we're going to be that's going to be one of the topics that we're touching on. There's huge price differences in all these pedals, and I think this is a common theme that we keep hearing from the builders is like this. The things that make the pedal sound magic are those. It is not an inexhaustible supply. They're beginning to run low and may never be made again. So that's raising the cost of a lot of pedals. So that's just something for us enthusiasts to be aware of.
Yeah, Emmanuel, I wanted to talk a little bit about the multi-effects pedals that you're building. Specifically, the one that caught my eye at least was the Pink Flow model, which is I'm assuming is based on trying to emulate Pink Floyd type guitar sounds. Right.
It was basically, Yanis is a huge Pink Floyd fan. Actually, a lot of his inspiration on getting certain sounds out of the pedals have been David Gilmour sounds. The Pink Floyd is the first standard multi-pedal we're producing in a larger scale.
Can I just really quick before you go too deep into this? I wanted to clarify: we're not talking about like a digital multi-pedal, where there's scrolly menus and stuff. This is literally a giant analog box with multiple pedals inside.
Yes, and it's not even giant. It's actually a very contained sized multi-pedal compared to what the Jam Pedals custom shop is making. The Pink Flow is the only standard multi-pedal we're offering. It's obviously a tribute to David Gilmour guitar sounds and Pink Floyd guitar sounds, but it's basically an assortment of pretty much kind of like your 4 on the floor. Let's say it's our 6 on the floor. The must-need pedals like that you can really get your everything out of. But our multi-pedals, yes, they're all analog, nothing digital in them or about them. The guys in the custom shop have been creating multi-pedals that could be up to 16 effects in one box.
Wow.
We just recently saw some posts on that, and that's what I was referencing by giant. I saw the underside of one. I'm like, I think there might be like up to 10 pedals in there.
16 actually. It's crazy.
Wow.
And they can attach our Waco, the wah pedal on the same enclosure.
Oh, wow.
And it basically, you have like a huge analog
pedal board.
Yeah.
That's what essentially
sound factory, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, it saves you from all the connecting cable, the power needs. The weight is incredibly light. And it's an amazing gig-worthy companion or touring companion that can actually go, if you have a big enough gig bag, it could go in the front slot of your gig bag, I guess.
Yeah.
And you just want power supply to work it. I invite everybody to go take a look at our custom shop gallery with existing designs. We offer... we are like the only company to be offering an interactive custom shop, custom pedal design form. You can dream up your own design, and we make it happen.
Oh, that's cool.
It's very cool stuff. Yeah, I could take a whole podcast speaking about just that.
That's a really nice option.
Well, it makes for a really cool collector thing. I think that's what we all looked at. We're like, it's a unique thing to say, like, here's all of these pedals that are made to work together, actually working together in a single box in an analog form. That's pretty neat. Wow.
Thank you.
There's so much. We're really glad that we got to spend time getting to know you and Jam Pedals, and you're obviously a very colorful character, and we're glad to have you as a friend.
Same here, Todd and Tony. Thank you for the opportunity to speak a bit about what we do. One thing we didn't say, and I have to say it, one thing we're so proud of is our artist roster. We have some of our heroes, some of the most amazing people to play guitar, playing our pedals, and we're very, very proud about that. And I kind of usually say, like, if they like it, then we're okay.
Right. Well, that makes sense. I mean, they're doing it out there in the world. Speaking of doing it in the world, Tony, we gotta circumvent the absence of Jared, who we've missed terribly. Would you like to go for it?
Yes. Apologies in advance to Jared, but I'm gonna try to fill in for him here.
Okay.
At this part of the show, we like to do Would You Rather?
All right. That's not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah.
This week's Would You Rather. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to do my Jared impersonation anymore. This comes from Joe Halliday of Hello Sailor Pedals.
Yep.
His Would You Rather is, you have two choices. You can have as many Chinese clone mini effects as you like, or just one hand-built custom pedal.
Ooh, tricky.
So,
Tony, what are you going to do?
You know, a lot of the Chinese stuff has gotten better, but I still like to have someone's DNA/fingerprint, whatever, on a hand-built custom pedal. I mean, there's something special about that because you know what goes into it. And people are really spending time. They want to perfect something. They want a product that is going to be out there for as long as a person wants to play it. So for my money, even though it's fun to have a bunch of little pedals that you can just, toss against the wall and throw away when you're done with them, having one high-quality hand-built pedal would be my choice.
Emmanuel.
Here's
What
a
are you
loaded
gonna
question.
choose?
He's going with the Chinese pedals, I bet.
I'm
Probably.
taking the Chinese pedals all day long, man. Come on. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Give me the Chinese pedals. I don't know. I mean, nothing against the Chinese or whatever pedals, but if somebody was offering me all Chinese pedals, I would say no pedals at all. I'm just a good amp.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Please don't give me the Chinese pedals.
Yeah.
All right.
So, you know my answer, I guess, right?
Yeah, hand-built pedal. Well, I'm going to make this unanimous. I especially, if I had been asked that question several years ago, I may have a different answer because I didn't have as much exposure to it, growing up, when I was younger, and I would have probably gone for, no, I want all the pedals, which, it's fun to have a lot of pedals. I mean, it is. That's why we are interested in all this to a large degree. But getting to know so many of the builders and, not unlike Emmanuel and Jam and all the others that we've had on the show, I can't possibly trade in the experience of either working directly with or getting to know, getting to understand what someone is making by hand. And, that's what our show is all about. So it's a no-brainer for me, taking the handmade pedal. Yeah. And I'm fairly certain Jared would say the same thing. So we're just going to say that for him. All right, Emmanuel of Jam Pedals, where can people find you?
People can find us on our website, jampedals.com. They can go through a list of dealers around the world. And if that's not enough, they can always shop directly from our eShop. And while we're on that subject, I would like to say for all your listeners out there, we went ahead and created a discount code called Guitar Knobs, where you can, if you decide to use the eShop for any purchase of our standard line of pedals, put Guitar Knobs, as I said, and get a 20% discount.
All right.
Alrighty.
Very nice. 20% off, everybody. That is 20% off if you use the code Guitar Knobs on jampedals.com. That is pretty sweet stuff. Very generous of you to do that. We are grateful for you giving that opportunity for our audience to partake of your pedals. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, guys, for having us and giving us a chance to talk about what we do.
You bet. We're going to wrap things up real quick. Tony, we got a couple people to thank.
Yes, we have a special group of people that we like to call our executive producers to thank right now. And you might be sitting there wondering, well, how do I get to be recognized as an executive producer? It's really simple. Head on over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. And you'll see various levels that you can participate in sponsorship. At each level, you get some really great prizes and, barefoot buttons, picks, and stickers, and T-shirts, and all kinds of fun stuff. But the one real benefit of being an executive producer is, Jared, you get to have your name read on the thing. That's right. You get your name read on the thing. That wasn't Jared, by the way. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to read off this ever-growing, and we thank each and every one of these folks for helping us out, keeping the lights on. Let's start with the original Tom Brazen, Martin Cliff, John Daly, Sean S. Chris Kearney, Darren Gregory, Doug Christ, Michael Van Zant, Brad Partridge, Corey Nigro, Ken Sayers, Jonathan Jerusik, Brian Robison, Michael Senchuk, Michael McVeigh, Rick Langlu, Stefan Lamb, Johnny Knowles, Anthony Lathrop, John Anglin, Tyler Bray, Tig Harmon, Chris Heidel, John Esterly, Tim Nowak, and Doug Gann.
All right.
Thank you, each and every one of you. And even, if you don't get your name right on the thing, we thank you, too, for helping us out as being a Patreon sponsor.
Huge thank you to all of the subscribers that are patrons at the $5 level. I mean, your contribution is so important, and we're very, very thankful for that. All right. What a fun show this has been for us. Tony, where can people find you?
Go over to pickguardian.com. That's usually the best place. But I do a lot of postings on Instagram, and that's under Pick Guardian and the number 1.
Right. So if you need a rad pick guard made, or if you're putting in new pickups and maybe they're a little screwy and want to do something different, gussy up your guitar.
Make it purdy like.
Yeah. And if you want to get some mighty fine pickups, like legitimately, these pickups are outstanding. Head over to Brandon Wound Pickups and get yourself some there. And you can shoot me a note. Send it to Todd at theguitarknobs.com, or you can do a direct message on Instagram. And we would love to hear your would you rathers. And boy, oh boy, this has been fun. Emmanuel, thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you for having me once again. It's lovely to meet you guys. Actually, no, we met up now.
Yeah, we did.
What the hell?
Yeah. It's like a second date. Set different. It's different.
How was the first one? Did it go well?
The first one was pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody make sure you go check out jampedals.com and get your 20% off discount using the Guitar Knobs code, and have a great guitar week, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Let me click my lighter. 1 second. Yeah, 6 Wicked Spoke.
Yeah.
I recently quit.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page, and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.